This is WGN-TV Chicago.
Harry Caray and Steve Stone. Here are the lineups for today's game, starting with Bobby Cox's Atlanta Braves. Lofton in center, Tucker in right, Chipper Jones at third, McGriff at first, Klesko in left, Javier Lopez the catcher, Lemke at second, Blauser the shortstop, and Tom Glavine, 2-0 for the year, is on the mound. The Chicago Cubs Pepsi defense shows Glanville in left, McRae in center, and Sosa in right. Ori, Dunston, Sandberg, and Brown around the infield. Traxel pitching, Service catching, and the umpires are Barron behind the plate, Reeker at first, Randy Marsh at second, and Larry Ponciano is the third. You know, what I hope doesn't happen, Steve, you know, a team starts the season, goes into a slump, and then if they have a rookie in their lineup, the first guy they take out is a rookie. He may be playing as well or better than anybody, but they figure they need more experience. I hope that does not happen here, because this Ori looks like he's a real Major League ball player.
Well, unfortunately, Harry, when young guys come to a ball club, a lot of what they do is tied to what their team does. And when the team is struggling, you look at any of the parts that can be interchangeable, and more times than not, the eyes of management fall to the young player. But I believe you're right. I believe Kevin Ori's going to be a good player. I think they're going to give him every opportunity to do just that. And I like the way that Jim Riggleman has stuck with the guys that he brought out of spring training. He said that we thought these guys were good enough when we left spring training. We feel they're good enough right now. He knows that they're not going to hit like they're hitting now, so he's giving them every opportunity to come out of it. And the Cubs are hoping for some decent weather to be able to do just that, because in reality here in Chicago, the opposition hasn't hit the ball either. So the Cubs aren't the Lone Ranger as far as producing runs.
Boy, I certainly recommend great reading indeed in the Chicago Tribune today in Jerry Holtzman's column. It's about Branch Rickey, maybe a forgotten hero in the famous Jackie Robinson story. Because Rickey, you know, is a man who picked Jackie Robinson to be the first, and he scouted him for better than a year. Not only scouted him with one of his scouts, but every single one of the Brooklyn Dodgers scouts, and had a unanimous opinion as to whether he would be the best first choice available. And he was both the first choice and also the best. And Jackie, of course, opened the gates to all the other ball players without whom the game today wouldn't be what it is. All right, Traxel. He hasn't had any more luck than any other pitcher. Boy, look at Mulholland, yes. How can you lose a ball game like that?
I don't think you can throw much better than Terry Mulholland threw, and maybe the only justifiable outcome for Terry was to get a no decision. If the Cubs weren't going to win, you didn't want to see Terry lose that one, because he threw just about as well as you could throw, but he had no offensive support. When that happens, you usually lose the ball game.
Boy, how about that? The Cubs have scored a total of 21 runs so far this year. Colorado, the Rockies, have hit 22 home runs. They've hit more home runs than the Cubs team has scored all year long. That goes to show you the kind of hitters. They'll be here Tuesday and Wednesday when the Rockies make their first appearance of the year here at Wrigley Field. Ken Lofton leading it off, strike ball. Lofton hitting .311, no homers, 5 RBIs, lightning fast. Ori playing him very shallow. Pitch a little bit low. This guy is fast. He knows he is fast. And everybody knows he knows he's fast. No matter how you play him, he can butt and beat it out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fastball inside.
Well, the last thing you want to do with Kenny Lofton is put him on base via the base on balls. You might as well let him hit his way on. And he's a quality player. It's going to turn out to be a pretty good trade for both teams.
Line shot to left. Lofton is on again. Boy, oh boy, what an acquisition he was. I don't know what it's going to cost the Braves next year. He's a free agent at the end of this season. But boy, he is an outstanding ball player.
Well, Traxel's always had problems with the Braves. He's 0-4 lifetime, an ERA of 8.68 in 4 starts. So hopefully that trend can turn around today. And we'll take a look at Steve Traxel. Had an all-star year last year. And look what he did at Wrigley Field last season. If you remember, a couple of years ago, Steve Traxel had a hard time winning here. That wasn't the case last year when he was brilliant at home.
There's Michael Tucker hitting .313 with a homer, 2 RBIs. He'll be followed by Chipper Jones hitting .316 with 2 homers and 9 RBIs. Their first 3 hitters are batting over .300, and their fourth is hitting .293. Fred McGriff. Lofton, a good lead. They pitch out. He had taken a couple of steps, changed his mind, or else decoyed him.
Well, it could have been that he might have read the pitch out as Jim Riggleman, guessing that Lofton was going. He took a couple of false steps and then stopped.
Michael Tucker. Lofton is good lead. Throw to first, runner back.
With Lofton and Tucker at the top, it gives the Braves a completely different look. Now they have a couple of speed burners right at the top of that order, right ahead of Jones, McGriff, and Klesko, as well as Lopez. And if these guys get on, it's a very tough day for the pitcher.
Crowd quiet at the moment. Bright sunshine. That's a relatively good baseball day relative to what has been. Here's a base hit to left. Both left-handed hitters hit to the opposite field, and the Braves have runners at first and second, nobody out, and Chipper Jones, who during his career has had 3 out of 8 against Traxel, and 2 of the 3 hits have been home runs.
Well, Jones has grounded into a couple double plays, and that's what Steve Traxel is thinking about right here.
Runners at first and second. Boy, the way these 2 left-hand hitters started, you can see their intent. They must have talked about the best approach to Traxel. Hit him the opposite field. Here's the curveball inside.
Jones is hitting just .133 as a right-hand hitter. Unfortunately for the Cubs and Steve Traxel, he's hitting .435 as a left-hand hitter. Both of his home runs and 8 of his 9 runs batted in have come from the left side, where he saw a lot more pitching in the spring because of the preponderance of right-handers in baseball.
Now ready. There go the runners. The throws at second base from the trailer. Watch Lofton now. They tag him out. No, he missed them. Safe. The throw to the plate. He's out. Lofton is out trying to score. Brown missed Tucker, who got by him and was safe at first base. And the throw to the plate got Lofton, who had rounded second and then rounded third, and then tried to score in the rundown on Tucker. Now watch his play. Dunston runs him down, keeps an eye on Lofton. Here's oh, look at that. He's stumbled and fell but didn't touch him. And there's a throw to the plate by Traxel, and he's out. A lot of excitement on that play. And Traxel gets an assist on it. And so the important man was retired. The man trying to score, Ken Lofton. 6, 3, 1, 2 on the run, on the play at the plate. Throw to first, runner back. Well, with the with the double steal on, Service very wisely, instead of trying for Lofton, went for the trailer. 1 ball, 1 strike. A little bit inside. Mark Barron, the plate umpire. The picture isn't as ominous one right now as it was a few moments ago. There's 1 out, a runner at first. Nobody has scored yet. Ground ball should be easy. Sandberg over to Brown, 2 away. Watch this play again. An interesting play indeed. Watch Dunston, who takes the throw. Here it is. Now he keeps his eye. Watch him look over third. And he gives it to Brad Brown, who thought he had tagged him but didn't. Now Lofton races to the plate. Traxel throws a strike and Service makes the put out. Good play. 2 out now. Runner in scoring position. Here's Fred McGriff. We were hoping for a ground ball double play that would ease the pressure on Traxel. And the pressure is eased entirely different than the double play we were hoping for on the ground ball. A little bit outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. The Tigers lead the White Sox, first game of a doubleheader, 5-0 in the bottom of the 5th at Detroit. The Giants are walloping the Mets, 5-1 at the end of 7. A little bit inside.
Unlike the first 2 lefties, Lofton and Tucker, if Freddie McGriff hits the ball to the left side, he's going to try to drive it, and he can take it out of the ballpark that way. The first 2 left-hand hitters just swat at the ball, try to take advantage of their speed, but McGriff has tremendous power to all field.
Mad Dog, they call him. 2 balls and the strike. It's outside corner to knee, and the count is evened up. Traxel making a great effort to get out of a very, very precarious situation. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Oh, just missed the corner. And the count is full, 3-2.
You'd have to figure with first base open and the power hitter up that Traxel would go to that forkball and try to keep it away from McGriff.
Let's see what he throws. 3-2. Home run threat. Inside, ball 4. And again, they have 2 men on, but 2 out. And Ryan Klesko, who's 4 out of 10 against the pitching of Traxel, and 1 of the 4 hits is a home run. San Diego at Philadelphia, no score in the bottom of the 4th. Los Angeles at Pittsburgh, 1-1 at the end of 1. Strike call. Good fastball. Boy, you gotta like the way Traxel is working. Early in the ball game, of course, you don't know how to wind up. 0-1 the count. The pitch. Swung and he fouled it back. 0-2.
Klesko is one of those hitters that will occasionally expand the strike zone, and you can strike him out on something low and out of the zone. So let's see if Traxel, far ahead, will try to nip at the corners. Klesko has fanned 6 times this year.
0-2 the count. This is a good fastball hitter, Ryan Klesko. Back him out call over the outside corner. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. We go in the bottom of the first, no score. Field, here's Jim Riggleman's Pepsi starting Cub lineup of McRae, Glanville, and Dunston. Sosa hitting 4th, Sandberg and Ori. Brent Brown, 7th, Service catching, hitting 8th, and Traxel the pitcher. The defense for the Braves is Klesko in left, Lofton in center, Tucker in right. Chipper Jones, Blouser, Lemke, and McGriff around the infield. Lopez catching, and Tom Glavine is on the hill. What a pitcher.
Here you look at the numbers on Tom Glavine. Outstanding lifetime against the Cubs at 11-6. Take a look at the outside corner early and watch what Mark Barron gives to Tom Glavine. He lives on the outside corner to the right-hand hitters. And that strike zone will start to expand as the game moves along. So a lot like Maddox, who gets 3-4 inches outside, Glavine's been getting the same thing. And if he gets that pitch, he is very tough to hit.
You know, you could easily, these 2 pitchers, one right-hander, one left-hander. Maddox, of course, right-hander, and Glavine, the left-hander. You could reverse the description. You could say Maddox is the right-handed Glavine, and the Glavine is the left-handed Maddox. They both pitch similarly. Here's a pitch outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. You know, the Cubs have not gotten a lot of credit for good defensive plays for good reason. Made a lot of errors so far this year, but they certainly dedicated and executed the play on the attempted double steal perfectly. And that's the only reason Lofton, one of the fastest men in the game, was out at the plate. A little looper. Blouser back. Falls down but makes the catch. McRae pops to Blouser. Boy.
Fine play by Blouser, and just when you start looking away, Glavine jams you, and that's what he did to McRae there as Blouser goes back. The wind is blowing in, so it kept that ball within reach of Blouser. I don't think Klesko would have gotten to it.
You know, McRae for this season now is 4 out of 35. 1 out. Here's Doug Glanville hitting .308. Fouls it back. 1 strike and nothing. Baltimore leads Texas 4-0, 3.5 innings at Baltimore. There's a pitch outside. There is Terry Mulholland, who did such an outstanding job. He was not the loser. As a matter of fact, the winning pitchers yesterday for the Braves were alumni of the Cubs. Maddox started, and by luck he got the win. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bouncing foul.
Well, just about the time you start reaching outside a little further, that's when Glavine tries to saw the bat off in your hands coming inside. So he's worked Glavine away with 4 pitches in a row. Let's see if Lopez wants it in.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Fouled it back. Glavine last year won 15 and lost 10 with an earned run average of 2.98. He's 2-0 so far this year. The pitch on the way, outside. In a period between 91 and 96, Glavine has won 108 games in 5 years.
Maddox right there, Harry, is 106.
Yeah. Ground ball to the second baseman. Easy out. Lemke. To McGriff.
The trademark of both Glavine and Maddox is the fact that they can throw the ball exactly where they want it at different speeds, and you can't tell anything by their arm motion. They both have outstanding changeups. And Glavine won't come inside quite as much as Maddox will, but they're both very tough. They both have a lot of movement, and they both very rarely throw you the same pitch in the same spot at the same speed during one at bat.
Here's Dunston. Against Glavine, Dunston is 6 out of 35. Batting only .097. No homers, 1 RBI. All 2. You know, you expect to see big, hard-throwing guys who are outstanding pitchers like Maddox and Glavine. But in their case, it's not so. They're only average size, about 6 feet tall. They don't. A lot of guys in major leagues throw the ball much harder, but nobody has as much success.
I think, Harry, that's why sometimes the radar gun is used a little too often with a lot of these pitchers. It's not necessarily the velocity at which the pitch comes in. It's the type of movement, especially late movement, that the ball has.
Yeah, but in your case, you weren't a big man now, and you could throw the ball hard, and you had a good overhanded curveball.
Very hard in the early days, but I wasn't a real accomplished pitcher till I hurt my arm and lost that velocity.
Here's strike 2 to Dunston, 3-2.
There's an example of the Glavine outside corner. From the Southwest Airlines Plainview camera, take a look at this pitch. It's close, but it's just off the corner a touch, but Glavine will get that pitch from everyone all day long.
3-2 the count. Fouled it out of play.
I think that got our cameraman in the shoulder.
It did? Who's that cameraman done?
I think it got him in the shoulder. Hang in there, Dave. It gets better.
Yeah, Dave, don't worry about it. It's a warm day. You can take it today. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Glavine. There's a long drive, center field, Lofton back. Makes the catch to retire the Star. That's the hardest ball that Dunston's hit all spring. And Lofton went back to the warning track for the putout. At the end of 1, no score. Steve Stone back at Wrigley Field as we go in the top of the second. Josh Lewin had a good interview with Greg Maddox before the game on the leadoff man. And we'll be back again on the 10th inning show.
There's a look at one of the premier pitchers in all of baseball, Greg Maddox, who was once again his brilliancy yesterday.
Javier Lopez leading it off. Boy, he had a cut, popped it straight up. Service under the ball. Makes the catch, 1 away. Lopez. The only time Lopez doesn't catch for Atlanta is when Maddox starts the game. Maddox
just feels better with Eddie Perez.
Yeah. And before that, Charlie O'Brien, remember.
Right.
One out. And here's Mark Lemke. Against Traxel, Lemke's had 3 out of 5. Takes the pitch low and inside. Detroit has built up a 7-0 lead on the White Sox at the end of 5. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Big group of Cub fans and Arnie Harris fans looking on at the Stardust. Bill Boyd, John Miner, Ken Gwynn, and Phil Diagardi out in Las Vegas today.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. And my friend Bill Sullivan is watching the game at Bally's in Vegas. I talked to Bill the other day. 2 balls and a strike. There's a high fly ball. Should be caught. Glanville. 2 away. And here is Jeff Blauser, who has a career .358 batting average against the Cubs pitching. Blauser's base hit won the game yesterday.
Take a look at what Blauser has done for his career. And if he played against the Cubs every day, he'd probably go to the Hall of Fame.
More home runs than any other Brave during his career. And 11 of those 15 homers were hit here at Wrigley Field.
Including 3 in one game, as you recall.
Yeah.
Wind is blowing across today. It's not quite the effect it's had the last few days. It's blowing kind of lazily to the right field corner.
Blauser with a count of strike 1. 2 out, nobody on. There's that pitch over the outside corner. And the count 0-2. There's a base hit. Boy, that Blauser. He took 2 strikes and singled to center.
They got a fastball on the inner half, and that's the one he took right back up the middle, so he keeps the inning alive. And Tom Glavine is a very good hitting pitcher. We'll take a look at the swing from the Southwest Plainview camera. It's high above Wrigley Field as Jeff Blauser hits it exactly where it was pitched.
Well, Blauser yesterday hit Mel Rojas's first pitch. A line single at center, driving in the winning run.
Well, Brant Brown came out to have a talk with Steve Traxel, and it might be that he's going to release a little early. Not thinking Blauser will run ahead of the pitcher, but you never know.
2 men around. Fastball outside. Bruce Levine, well-known sportscaster here in Chicago. His daughter Molly celebrating her 10th birthday today. 1 ball, no strikes. Foul ball down the left field line into almost into the stands, and Glanville makes a good friend. They're the Montgomery Ward honorary bat boy and bat girl. Zach Bentz, the boy, and Sarah Batka, the girl. Congratulations.
Because Glavine is such a good hitter, Brant Brown is indeed just holding Blauser and then moving well in back of him to get a better angle on any ground ball hit that way.
A little bit outside, 2 balls and a strike.
Glanville was also drafted by the Los Angeles Kings in the 4th round, so he was not only a great pitcher, but a pretty accomplished hockey player.
2 balls and a strike. Runner at first, Jeff Blauser. Swung and he missed. 2-2. The Pirates trailed the Dodgers 3-1 at the end of 2 in Pittsburgh. Florida has a 1-0 lead in the 2nd at Cincinnati. A little rooftop action going on today. Not the usual big crowd. There's a pitch fouled in the stands.
To send along get well wishes to Lorraine Harriet, recovering in Aurora.
Life's most glorious moment. The guy with his son, the son gets the foul ball, and is he ever happy? Base hit. Lavin poked a single to left. And that brings up the very dangerous Ken Lofton.
Well, Traxel's going to have to come inside a little more on those left-handers. He has a lot of them leaning out over the plate, taking that ball to left field. It looks like they came in with a game plan. If Traxel's going to stay away, they're going to go that way. And watch the swing of Tom Glavine. We told you he was an accomplished hitter. He just reaches out, finds a hole with this one, and now you move to the top of the order, and Lofton's a lot more dangerous than Glavine.
2 out, 2 on. They've constantly seemed to have 2 men on base every second of this game. Base hits right field on the first pitch. Here's the runner scoring. Sammy's got a chance. He is out at the plate. Sammy Sosa, his 5th assist of the new season, as he throws out Bowser trying to score. Let's watch it again. Here's the throw. 1 hop right on the button. And Service makes the catch. His 5th assist of the new season. And we go in the bottom of the 2nd. Still no score.
On the Parenthood, Michael's got a record deal.
Sammy Sosa is getting to the ball under control, and that's something he's done all year long. And despite 5 hits by the Braves, they haven't scored because of plays like this. The throw is right on the button. All a catcher asks for is to get the ball an eyelash ahead of the runner, and Service has made 2 good tags. From the Southwest Plainview camera, take a look at Scott Service putting the tag on, and there is the camera high atop Wrigley Field, the Southwest Airlines Plainview camera.
Well, nothing wrong with the much maligned Cub defense today. They've come up with 2 brilliant plays to keep the Braves from scoring. Now the pitch a little bit inside to Sammy. Sosa has 1 of 2 home runs hit by the Cubs this year. This is the 10th game of the season. Only Mark Grace, who's not able to play because of an injury, and Sosa have connected. Sosa is 6 out of 29 against Glavine, and 1 of the 6 hits was, rather 2 of the 6 hits were homers. Ball 3, low and away. The Tigers have a 7-0 lead over the White Sox. But you know, the Tiger pitching staff has been known to give up 1 million runs in late innings. Here's a pitch foul back by Sammy. The White Sox have scored 3 runs, Arnie and Farnsby, and the game's been delayed by snow. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Hey, struck him out.
Glavine went to the changeup, and he kept it away from Sammy. And both Glavine and Maddox on a 3-2 count will throw that changeup consistently. Threads the needle outside, and Sammy goes down on strike.
Here's Ryan Sandberg. Drove in the only run yesterday. He's hit a homer off Glavine during his career. He hit him for a .286 average. 1 of his hits being a home run. Fouls off the first pitch. It looks very pleasant out in the sun seats and the bleachers. The beautification out in center field looks greener than ever today. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 balls and the strike. 1 away. We're in the 2nd. Baltimore has built up a big lead, 7-0 on Texas. Bouncing ball, leaping high, making the play. Glavine tosses him a grip. 2 away, 5 in a row retired by Tommy Glavine.
Not only do all of these Brave pitchers hit the ball pretty well, they all field their position exceptionally well. Glavine made a good play there.
2 out, nobody on. Kevin Ory. Fastball outside. He missed the corner for one of the few times. 1 ball, no strikes. Swung, and he fouled it back. Baltimore leading Texas 7-0 at the end of 4. Oakland at Yankee Stadium tied up 1-1 in the 4th. So below, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike, 2 out. No score. Swung and a miss. Count evened up 2-2. Yeah, I remember the great story about Willie Mays. Hitting everything was pitched to him in the AAA League, brought up to the New York Giants. Here's the pitch inside. And highly touted when 34 straight times at bat without a hit. Leo DeRocha told him, call him in and say, hey, you're going to be in there if you go 434. Here's a bouncing ball, going to be a hit. It is. Blauser made the play backhanded, but no chance to make the throw.
Good effort by Jeff Blauser, and Kevin Ory has his second infield hit. He's got pretty good speed for a big guy, and no chance at all for Blauser. He just puts it in his pocket.
Let's pause for identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN-TV, Chicago.
Brent Brown with the runner at first, 2 away. First pitch low and away.
Well, there are a lot of times when Glavine will have more difficulty with left-handers than he will with the right-handers.
1 ball, no strikes. No score. We're in the bottom of the 2nd. Outside, ball 2. Getting back to Leo DeRocha, calling in Willie, and Willie was only about 19 years old. You can imagine how nervous he was. He thought maybe he was going to be benched and sent back to Minneapolis. And that's when Leo said, I don't care how many times you don't get a hit. You're my center fielder forever.
And he outlasted Leo.
Yeah, that day he hit a home run off Warren Spahn, and you know the career, the great career of Willie Mays. 2 balls and a strike. Bouncing ball coming in fast. Lemke on the run in time. So no runs, 1 hit, 1 left. At the end of 2, no score. And Steve Stone back at Wrigley Field. Hey, look at that. I bet you can guess who this guy is just looking at him. That's Ron Santo Jr. How you doing, buddy?
Good, Harry. How are you?
All right. Hey, what's this great thing you're doing for Maryville?
Well, what we got here is a beautiful 8-inch diameter porcelain plate, banded in 24-karat gold, honoring your great career, past and present, and all proceeds are benefiting the Maryville Academy in Des Plaines.
No, there's the... Hey, that ain't bad at all. How much you get for that?
$29.95 is the retail price.
Well, it'd be a bargain at twice the price.
The reason I asked what you get for it, I figured maybe I'd call Father Smith and have him rebate something to me.
I'm sure he'll take care of you.
No, you're doing for a wonderful, wonderful cause indeed.
Yes, it is.
What do people do to want to get one?
Well, it's in this month's Cubs Vine line, and also they can order on the 1-800 number that they saw on the screen. And later on in the month, your restaurants will be having them too.
Have you told your old man about it?
Oh, sure. Now he's going to get one himself.
This is a long drive foul down the right field line. Here's the old man we're talking about, Ron Santa, the great third baseman of the Cubs, and Ron Jr. Now, do you call yourself an entrepreneur or an artist?
No, I didn't do the artwork. That was done by a young lady by the name of Heather Price here in the Chicagoland area. I'd be more the entrepreneur.
Well, how'd they going? You're selling
Doing
it.
well, yes. With the Cubs Vine line coming out this month, we're doing very well. And thanks to WGN, I think we'll do even better.
Be sure you send all the money to
We will.
Father Smith. That's
We will.
all I'm interested
We're
in.
always in touch with Claire, who's Father Smith's assistant.
Okay, Ron. Good seeing you.
Thank you, Harry.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Ron Santo Jr. A half swing, a little looper. Nice play by Ori. Diving headlong to make the catch. Tucker. Boy, oh boy, he had a funny cut in that ball.
Well, he was just trying to protect the plate, Harry, and Kevin Ori had just one shot, and he knew he had to dive. No chance for Traxel on this one. Kevin Ori comes over. We heard a lot about his glove work all spring, and he makes a fine play right here.
One out, nobody on. And here's Chipper Jones. Takes the pitch outside. Chipper against Traxel. 3 out of 8. 2 of the 3 hits home run. Hitting .316 for the year. Oh, good. I guess that was the fork ball, huh?
That was a fork ball in a good spot. And what I like about Traxel throwing to Tucker, he got that ball in on him and serving notice to the left-handers that he will come inside. They can't just look away.
Boy, look at that. Dodgers score. 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 9 in the third. They lead the Pirates in Pittsburgh 12-1. Now the pitch swung and he missed. Chipper Jones. The count even up, 2-2. 1 out, nobody on. Ron Santo Jr., nice looking young man. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. Little bit high. The curveball.
Traxel wanted that one, but didn't get the call from Mark Barrett.
1 out, nobody on. 3-2 pitch. Walked him. So these Braves here's the Nissan trivia question. Who holds the Major League record for the most career strikeouts? I'll say Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson.
Well, you agree on something.
That was a stereo Reggie Jackson.
1 out, 1 on.
We might be wrong, Harry, but we'll go down together if we are.
If we are, it would be Mickey Mantle. Now the pitch swung on. A high fly ball should be caught. McRae comes in. 2 away as McGriff on the first pitch. Flies out. Brian McRae. 2 out. A runner at first. The beautiful Wrigley Field. The sun shining brightly. Hey, the sailboats are even out on Lake Michigan. Ryan Klesko. It's supposed to get up to 50 tomorrow. It seems at least that now.
And that's great with the off day.
Klesko. Got to be careful here. Boy, they've had a lot of men on base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 men on base in the first 3 innings and haven't scored yet. Thanks to fine Cub defensive work. The pitch swung and missed.
You really have to love the way that Sammy has approached defense this year, Harry. He's not hitting the ball, but he realizes there's 2 halves to this game, and if you're not going to hit the ball. You can help your team by playing good defense. Sammy is throwing better than he's ever thrown. It's not that his arm is getting any stronger. It's just that he approaches everything now under control and makes a good, solid one-hop throw just about every time. And pretty soon they're going to stop running on him because he's cut down everybody in sight.
You know, it's amazing. This is only the 10th game of the season. He already has 5 assists from right field. 0-1 the count. Fouled it back. Boy, he had a cut at that. Yeah, there's some sailboats. I saw him, Alvin Hemphill, the Hyatt limousine man.
He's got his limo out on the lake?
Yeah, no, we were driving out to the ballpark down the lake shore, and there were a number of sailboats out. 0-2 the count. Maybe they're beyond the reach of our camera arm. The pitch over the first instead. A lot of Cubs that look like a good ball club here today. And that's what good defense will do. 0-2 the count. There goes the runner. Good throw, couldn't get him. No, low. And to the first base side, and he's safe. And Chipper Jones steals second.
Tough ball to handle for Scott Service, who's made a couple of good tags at the plate. This is not one of his better efforts on the throw as Jones goes behind and then grabs it with his hand. So Chipper Jones steals his 3rd base of the year. He hasn't been caught yet, and he runs himself into scoring position.
Boy, they've had somebody in scoring position all day. Klesko, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fanned his first time. That's tap. Brant Brown to Traxel covering to retire the side. No runs, no hits. 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 3rd, no score. Field. We go in the bottom of the 3rd, no score. It stopped snowing in Detroit, and at the end of 6th, Tigers lead 7-3 over the White Sox. Glavine pitching to Service. The Neeson trivia question, the answer is Reggie Jackson. Service fouls it off. Say our cameraman, Willie Snead Jr. His dad, Willie Sr., has opened a restaurant. No, make that, he is just retired.
Well, we can open a restaurant also now, Harry.
That's what you know, we get so many notes up here on restaurants. I took one glance, R-E-T-I-R-M-E-N-T. At any rate, have a good time, Mr. Snead Sr. As good a time as your son, Willie Snead Jr., always seems to be having. Service trying to get something going. 2-2 pitch. Line foul down the right field line. Happy birthday to Dimi Tianis, who's the son of our WGN cameraman, Demetrios Tianis. Eureka! What do you think happened today? The Chicago, I know you won't believe it, the Chicago Bulls were actually beaten in a basketball game. And here I'm saying, I'm still going to stick by it. I think they may blow through the playoffs without losing a game. But they were beaten at Detroit today. 2 balls, 2 strikes, a little bit outside. 3-2. Glavin, who rarely walks anybody. High fly ball, short right field, going to be caught. And Tucker puts it away. 7 in a row. Retired. And with 1 away, here's Traxel. Traxel, a pretty good hitter for a pitcher. Fastball on the outside corner. Oh, boy. That's unfair.
Why is that,
For
Harry?
one pitcher to throw a perfect pitch like that to another pitcher.
He doesn't want to be embarrassed.
It should be professional courtesy.
Well, after Glavin got the hit against Traxel, Steve Traxel would love to even the score.
0-2 the count. 1 out, nobody on. 1 ball, 2 strikes. No score. We're in the bottom of the 3rd.
Glavin was drafted in 1984 in the 2nd round. 2-4 his first partial season. Then his first full year, he was 7-17.
Swung, and he struck him out. 2 away, and that's 8 in a row. And here's the leadoff man. Boy, he's really in a slump. He's hitting under 121. McRae, in 34 times at bat, has made 4 hits. And that's your leadoff man. So once you get Brand hitting as he normally does, the offense will be much improved. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 out, nobody on. Fouled it out of play. Remember, the Colorado Rockies will be here to start a 2-game series Tuesday. Mark Thompson and Kevin Foster. There's a smash right to the second baseman. He has it. Lemke throws out McRae. 1, 2, 3, 9 in a row, retired by Glavin. At the end of 3, no score.
www.cubs.com. The site features daily game notes, updated statistics, complete player information, online access to Cub tickets, various interactive activities, and much more. The Cubs website is available 24 hours a day for fans throughout the world. Remember, the Cubs site is located at www.cubs.com.
Well, Javier Lopez leading it off. Glavin has had a base runner. Ori got that infield hit in the 2nd inning. That's the only man to reach base for the Cubs.
So far, Steve Traxel has bent, but he hasn't broken. And despite having tough innings in just about every inning, the Braves have not dented the scoreboard.
Phil Regan, the vulture. What a great relief pitcher he was. Lopez, a good swing. This kid's got great power.
He's another one of the youngsters developed by the very fruitful Braves system. It allows them not only to bring up players, but make a lot of trades with guys from their organization. That's how they got Freddie McGriff.
A little bit inside. Andy McPhail is going to address the Advertising Club of Chicago Thursday at the Westin Hotel luncheon.
You're going to be there to introduce him, aren't you?
Yeah, and he'll be interesting to listen to. He's a fine baseball man. He's gone through this kind of a rebuilding process in Minneapolis where they finished absolutely last one year and won the World Championship the next. There's a pitch swung, and he struck him out. 1 out.
It's a good split finger fastball. The bottom just falls out of it. That's probably the best one Traxel's thrown today. And when this one is working for you, it's close to unhittable.
Now there, look at the defense on Lemke. Very, very shallow in left. McRae over towards the left. And Lemke, a left-hand hitter, actually hits both ways. A lot of room in the right center. 1 ball, no strikes. A brilliant defense by the Cubs under an attempted double steal, plus a great throw by Sammy Sosa has kept the Braves from scoring. 1 out, nobody on. Bouncing foul.
Steve Traxel took a page out of the book of Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine. He got behind Lemke, then took a little something off, changed up on him, and he didn't have much of a swing. And Major League hitters have found out a long time ago you can get more hitters out by taking a little something off than trying to add a little something to your fastball.
Hot shot. Nice. Hey. Grant Brown. He had stopped the ball, but he thought he had deflected it somewhere. If he'd have looked right in front of him, he'd have found it.
Well, here he looked straight up in the air, and the ball was right at his feet. It goes as an error on Brandt. He does knock it down. The ball's hit hard, but Brandt looks straight up, doesn't know where it is, and it's right where he left it. And Lemke is aboard.
No, that's a shame. Even though the ball was hit hard, it's an error for Brent Brown. And now here's that man again, Jeff Blauser, hitting .433. Curveball in there, strike call. They bunch him towards center field. 1 out, 1 on. Blauser, a dangerous hitter against the Cubs. Lifetime batting average over .350. 15 home runs. 11 of them in this ballpark. Double play ball over to second for 1, over to first. Safe. Well, Blauser forces Lemke from Dunston to Sandberg.
Blauser gets down the line in a hurry, and Lemke's trying to do all he can do to disrupt this play, but he really doesn't get a piece of Sandberg. This throw to the pitcher's side is right there, but the ball isn't hit hard enough to double up Jeff Blauser, and they keep the inning alive.
So with 2 out, here's Glavine, who singled to left his first time up. Nothing. We're in the 4th. The Braves hold the record. Glavine fouls the pitch out. They hold the record for the most defeats at the beginning of a season, 10 in a row in 1988. The Cubs trying to avert the distinction of tying them. They've lost 9 already.
Well, that's the National League record. The American League record, I'm sure, is out of reach.
Yeah.
21 straight by the Baltimore Orioles. And that was also in 1988. And I think, Harry, in those times, that ball club was doing just about whatever they could and couldn't seem to win a game. Changed managers in the middle of that streak, as a matter of fact.
There's a pitch, swung and foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I was just going to ask you if you remember that team.
No, I remember, but I was not a member. In fact, it was Cal Ripken Sr. who presided over the first 12 of those losses. Then they changed over to Frank Robinson, and he came on and lost 9 straight before they finally won. And you would have thought that they won the World Series when they won that 22nd game.
I wonder what the picture will be when the Cubs, if they should win this game, we'll find out in a hurry. A little tap, take your time. Throw to first in time to retire the side. So, no runs, no hits. 1 error, 1 left. We go in the bottom of the 4th, no score.
Unbrotherly love. Who does Matt's girlfriend think he is?
He entertained the French ambassador and his son. Hello.
Is Monsieur Matt in over his head?
Oh, what kind of answer's that? I don't know.
Playback, Ryan Sandberg drove in his 1,000th career RBI yesterday on this single in the 6th inning.
Harry Caray and Steve Stone as we go into the bottom of the 4th. Doug Glanville will lead it off. Bounced out. His first time up.
If Doug will just look away early in the count, he's going to get something out there and maybe be able to take it to right field.
Glanville facing Tommy Glavine. Held up, low and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Line drive down the right field line, a base hit. And Glavine is on. He did go with him, Steve.
Well, you look away and you're going to get the pitch out there, and Doug Glanville, normally a pull hitter, able to take this one to right field. So if the Cubs are looking to break through, this could be the inning as Glanville stays right with it, goes to right field, and drops it just inside the line.
And now, Sean Dunson, who flat out hitting the ball very hard. Lofton going to the warning track and center to haul it in the 1st. Comes up there now in the bottom of the 4th. Good fastball in there. Sammy Sosa will be next. The Cubs miss Mark Grace, of course, but that's all part of the game. Injuries. The throw to first runner back, Glanville, gives you about as much speed as anybody on this ball club.
Glanville 1 for 2 in the stolen base department. The Cubs have been successful 3 out of 7 times. They haven't had much of a chance to turn loose that running game just yet.
Glavine. High pop fly, short right field. Tucker there makes the catch. 1 out. Here's Sosa. Sammy Dewey fanned his first time up. Kept the Braves from taking a lead with a brilliant throw earlier in the ball game.
Talking with Jim Riggleman and hitting instructor Tony Muser, they talked about Sammy and the struggles that he's had, and usually they talk about Sammy breaks himself out of his troubles by going to right field and getting a base hit or two, and then it'll force more of the National League pitchers to come inside, which is where he wants it.
Swung, and he fouled it back. The Giants beat the Mets 5-1. Boy, the Pirates, who drew a capacity house for the first game at home, playing at home today, are losing 12-3 in the end of 4. Fastball a little bit outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yankees lead Oakland 2-1. Bottom of the 6th. 1 ball, 1 strike. The outfield straight away and deep. Line and foul. Down the right field line into the stand. A souvenir for somebody.
Sammy broke his bat, so he'll have to go back and get another one as you look at Bobby Cox, the fine skipper of the Atlanta Braves.
Well, let's hope the new bat has some hits in it. One ball, 2 strikes. Tomorrow's an off day. Tuesday, the Colorado Rockies will be here. 1:20 game time. Josh Lewin's leadoff man at 1 o'clock. 1 out, 1 on. Reached outside, fouled it off. You almost have to. With any pitch, if it's a couple of inches or more outside, you might believe the umpire will call it anyway. Because Glavine is so great at threading the needle on the outside corner of a plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Outside. 2-2. Cincinnati and Florida are tied up 1-1, bottom of the 4th in Cincinnati. One out, 1 on. Glanville, a good lead. He throws over there. Glavine, too, thought he had increased his lead a little bit too much. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1 on. High, ball 3. And now he'll probably be going.
That's probably a very good pitch to run because you figure Glavine's going to throw that changeup away from Sosa again. And let's see if Glanville takes off.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Glanville, a pretty good lead. Here's the pitch. Line shot left field. Glanville around second. On his way to third, he's going to race through the plate. And he's going to make it easily, no play. Sammy Sosa puts the Cubs ahead. 1-0 with a line drive double to left.
RBI number 3 for Sosa as Sammy reaches out. Gets this ball, drives it right down the line, and Glanville's great speed comes into play. Dan Radisson just has him going, no doubt about it. He's going to make it easily. And the Cubs score first for the first time all year long. Isolate on Sammy. He gets a fastball out over the plate, and he just rips it.
He's a very happy Sammy, too. Watch this. He's going to applaud down there. Yeah, that away. His team leads 1-0 in the bottom of the 4th. And here's Ryan Sandberg. Boy, good to have a man with Glanville's speed on base. Any kind of an extra base hit. There's a high fly ball down the line, out of play.
Cub fans, now you can follow the baseball season right on your computer with WGN TV on the web. Our sports scores are updated every 3 minutes, and it's like having your own personal sports ticker. WGN TV on the web. Go to www.wgntv.com and know what happens as it happens.
Do you have a computer?
No, I am computerless.
Me either.
But I do have promos to read. I don't know what they mean, but I read them.
High fly ball, left center field. That line, shortstop goes out, makes the catch. Sandberg popped the Blauser, made the catch with his back to the infield.
Another pretty good play by Jeff Blauser. The outfield was very deep. There was no chance for them to get it, and Blauser corrals it. It's a good play.
So, here's Kevin Ory. Got an infield hit. The only man to see first base in the first 3 innings. But Glanville opened the fourth with a single to right and scored on Sammy Sosa's double to left. 1-0 Cubs. 2 men are out. A little bit outside.
Harry, Montreal's leading Colorado 1-0. That game in the bottom of the second. You think that'll hold up?
Well, if it's snowing, it might.
It's been pretty cold, and the Rockies continue to pound away at Coors Field.
Now the pitch. Outside, ball 2. Lavin pitching carefully to Ory. Brent Brown will be next. 1-0 in favor of the Cubs. There's Brant. Ball 3. Like to see Ory emulate Doug Glanville, who hit the ball the other way to right field to start this inning and scored. 3 balls, no strikes. Ball 4, he walked him. And here's Brad Brown. That's the first walk given up by Glanville.
There's Leo Mazzoni, the fine pitching coach of the Atlanta Braves.
1-0 in favor of the Cubs. Grant Brown rolled out his first time up. Fouled it into the stand.
Well, I hope everybody's okay in the Cub dugout. That was a rifle shot in there. And everybody's ducking. And I think somebody did get hit.
Who is that? Boy, somebody. Sandberg was hit by the foul ball. 0-1 the count. Oh, boy. Swung, and he missed the curveball, and he missed it a 1.5 feet. I doubt if Sandberg will continue in this game. What else is going to happen? 0-2 the count, 2 out. 1-0 Cubs. A ground ball easily tapped. McGriff has it to end the inning, but the Cubs score a run. 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. Or 2 left, rather. And at the end of 4, the Cubs are out in front, 1-0. At second base by Jose Hernandez. Rhino just sitting in the dugout with his teammates. When he's hit by the foul ball, he's walking into the clubhouse now.
Dr. Michael Schaefer with him, so he wasted no time getting down in the dugout. Hopefully Rhino will be okay. We'll let you know when we get a medical update.
Here's Lofton to lead it off. Strike call over the outside corner. Lofton has hit the ball to the opposite field almost every time up. 0-2. Outside.
With 2 strikes, you have a bit of an advantage at third because you can move back a step or 2 in back of the bag, and it cuts off that hole between third and short.
Line drive to center, another hit. Boy, oh boy, Lofton, who's 2 out of 4 day before yesterday, now it's 3 out of 3.
You have to keep your eye on Kenny Lofton, who stole a base in the first inning, was thrown out at the plate. But this sets up a world of possibilities for Bobby Cox, either the hit and run or the straight steal.
The outfield straight away. Michael Tucker takes a strike call. Tucker 1 out of 2 today. Crowd quiet. Nice crowd in the bleachers, in the sun seats. Throw to first, runner back. We're in the 5th. There goes the runner. Good throw. Got a chance. Safe. Lofton steals second.
Lofton, who stole 75 bases leading the American League last year, now has 3. Good effort by Scott Service, not in time, as Lofton steals his second base, steals himself into scoring position, and he's clearly in ahead of the tag.
1 ball, 1 strike, tying run in scoring position. Lofton a good lead. Swung and he missed. Chipper Jones will be next.
Good confrontation between pitcher and hitter right here, because Tucker should be trying to pull the ball to move along Lofton. And knowing that, Draxler's going to try to keep the ball away and force him to hit the ball to the left side if he hits it at all.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Bouncing ball. Dunston has it. Throws them out. And Lofton takes third.
Take a look at the stolen bases by the opposition, and the Cubs have yielded 17 this year. The Expos right behind them. The Reds follow them. So the teams have been running at will against the Cubs early.
The Reds, by the way, scored 4 in the 4th and lead Florida 5-1. Bottom of the 5th. There's Chipper Jones high. Fly ball, center field will score the run. McRae makes the catch. And the run scores after the catch. Lofton ties it up on Chipper Jones' sacrifice fly.
RBI number 10 as Brian McRae battles the sun. Really no chance at all to get Lofton. It's a good throw, but Lofton just too fast.
So game tied up 1-1. And here's McGriff. A little bit outside, ball 1. Swung, and he had a good cut. There was one little ray of sunshine in that section of the grandstand, and those fans found it. There's a line drive. Great play by Hernandez. Rob McGriff with a backhanded grab. However, 1 run, 1 hit, no error, nobody left. They go in the bottom of the 5th, tied up at 1.
150th anniversary.
It's time to believe again.
Follow your heart, Catherine. You must.
Beauty and the Beast. Weekdays at 2 exclusively on WGN.
Harry Caray back in the ballpark, first pitch low. Sandberg was hit around the ear. It was the ear that was bleeding, and they're getting further information. There's a pitch a little low. My son Skip Caray in the booth to my left now, along with Don Sutton, former great pitcher. 2 balls, no strikes. There's the curveball in there. 2 balls and the strike. Service. Find out his first time up. There's a long drive in the right center field, going to be caught. Tucker retreats and grabs it. 1 out. And here's Traxel. Bottom of the 5th. Let's say we started at 1:20. 2:20 would be 1 hour. About 1 hour and 40 minutes. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out. And Traxel had a cut.
By around this time in Atlanta, Harry, Maddox was putting the finishing touches on handing the ball to Mark Wohlers in that game that took 1:47. That was one of the fastest games I've ever been involved in.
He tried to hit it into the Braves dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 out, nobody on. Whoa, struck him out again. 2 up, 2 down. We're in the bottom of the 5th, tied up 1-1. The next telecast, Tuesday afternoon. There'll be a 2-game series, Tuesday and Wednesday. Larry Walker's absolutely sensational. He saw hot. Vinny Castilla hitting 440. And Galarraga hitting 370. Larry Walker leads in hitting, 472. Runs scored, 14 runs, 15 RBI. Tied with Deion Sanders in hits with 17. And leads in home runs with 7. What a year he's having. He'll be here Tuesday. 2 out, nobody on. Ground ball, up with it is Lemke, and McRae's an easy out. 1, 2, 3. At the end of 5, we're tied at 1.
Get ready for a night jam packed with Chicago Bulls basketball. First, 3 cheers, a toast to the world champs. Then the Bulls battle the Raptors. It all starts Monday night at 6:30 only on WGN.
Small town cops. Big time crime. Putting the wrong things right. Southern style. In the heat of the night. Weekdays at 10 a.m. and 11 p.m. on WGN.
With its sleek styling, easy out-roller seats, plus air conditioning and 7-passenger seating, all for a great price. The Plymouth Voyager is pretty attractive.
Cubs fans, stop by the Chicagoland Dominic's, make a purchase, and get an officially licensed Cubs jacket made by First Pick Sports, a division of Starter, for only $39.99, or a Cubs cap for only $7.99. These authentic, officially licensed products won't last long, so visit your local Dominic's today.
Remember that first crush? Remember what you did about it? 90210.
Weekdays at 3 on WGN.
This copyright telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago National League Ball Club, which has right of approval of the announcers and is intended solely for the private and non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Chicago National League Ball Club is strictly prohibited.
This is WGN-TV Chicago.
Harry Caray and Steve Stone as we go into the top of the sixth. Klesko leaving it off. He's 0 for 2. A dangerous home run threat. Swings and he misses. 1 strike and nothing. The Braves with 6 hits, the Cubs with 3. Let's pause here for identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN-TV, Chicago.
The pitch, swung and he missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
So far, Traxel's had Klesko's number. He's really tied him up. That split finger to Klesko has been the best pitch Traxel's had. He's right at the 80 pitch mark, so he should have a lot left.
Klesko. He's had 4 out of 12 against Traxel during his career, a home run included. 2 balls, 2 strikes. All 3 low. Cincinnati leading Florida 5-1 in the 6th. And Klesko draws the base on balls.
Cub fans, an afternoon at Wrigley Field is an event like no other, in a place like no other. With discounted rates available for groups of 20 or more, the friendly confines provide the perfect setting for corporate, family, or social outings. Plenty of seats are available for every home game this season, so for group ticket information, call 773-404-CUBS.
Is Javier Lopez, the catcher. Nothing out of 2. Curveball in there, a strike call. Klesko. Short lead over there.
Klesko has a stolen base against the Cubs this year. He doesn't run often, and Lopez is an inviting double play target. He's grounded into 1 this year.
Good pitch in there, a strike called, and it's 0-2 now. Javier Lopez will be followed by Mark Lemke. And then Jeff Blauser. The lower end of the Braves lineup is capable of scoring runs. Foul tip.
Someone got a piece of Scott's service, and he was shaken up somewhat. So Mark Barron will dust off the plate, give him a little time to regroup, and then go at it again.
Ryan Sandberg was hit by a foul ball off the bat of Brant Brown while the Cubs were batting last inning and suffered an injury around the ear. That's about all we've learned so far. But he had to leave the game. So Hernandez is playing second. A little bit high outside. Outfield straight away, infield straight away. Lopez, good power. He's hit one homer this year. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A little bit high and inside. 2-2. The Phillies in San Diego tied up 1-1 at the end of 8.
What the Sox did in the 9th inning against Detroit.
Yeah, they tied up the ball game with 3. They trailed 7-0 earlier. Two balls, 2 strikes. Look out. And now the count has run to 3-2 after being ahead of them 0-2.
Well, now I think you're going to get a chance to strike him out, throw him out. Chance Klesko will be going as he looks at Bobby Dews, the third base coach.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Throw the first runner back. Baltimore shut out Texas 9-0.
Bullpen up and going for the first time for the Cubs.
Swung, fouled it back. The runner was going. Jimmy Key pitched that shutout for Baltimore. 9-0 over Texas.
Patterson and Adams loosening up in the pen.
Bouncing ball, foul, outside third base. 3-2. That was a pitch that Traxel may have gotten a little more inside than he wanted to.
Now's a good time for your best move at first. Klesko has run twice. Maybe he'll be a little anxious this time.
He's edging away. 3-2 the count. Runner over. Throw is late.
We get a report that Ryan Sandberg has been sent to Northwestern Memorial Hospital to be kept under observation.
Runner at first, nobody out. 3-2. There goes the runner, swung on, foul back. And Lopez is getting some very good cuts.
Ryan Klesko is going to need some oxygen at first base. There's Kevin Foster, who will be facing the Rockies on Tuesday. He missed his scheduled start with the rain out, so they reinserted him in the rotation, and he'll face that very potent offense.
Runner at first, 3-2 on Javier Lopez, the Braves catcher. There goes the runner. Swung on, fouled again. I don't like the way Javier Lopez stays alive. He keeps getting a piece of the ball.
Yes, but on the bright side, Klesko is running slower and slower to second base. So maybe if you can get the ball by him, Scott Service will gun him down.
Traxel giving up 6 hits, 1 run. He's tied up here in the 6th. There goes. Throw the first runner back. Klesko lead. The pitch, there he goes. Swung on, base hit in the left field. Here comes Klesko around to third. And with nobody out, runners at second and third as Lopez doubled down the left field line.
That was the first sign that Traxel might be tiring. Scott Service wanted a fastball away. And as you can see, this one is on the inner portion of the plate. And Lopez, who hung tough that entire at-bat, turns it into a 2-base hit down the line. And here comes Phil Regan out to talk with Traxel. Wants to find out just how he's feeling.
Traxel, I would imagine, has made quite a number of pitches.
I think he's very close to 100, Harry, and he's worked hard because he was in trouble in the first, again in the second. He was in trouble in the 5th, and now here again in the 6th. So it's been one of those days where he's had a lot of base runners. He's made some very good pitches. But those pitches pile up, and he's got to be right around the 100 mark.
Remember that Poker Reese that we were talking about?
He was the shortstop in waiting for Cincinnati.
And he drove in the winning run for the Reds as they won from Houston last night.
Well, Pokey Reese has been the #1 prospect of the Reds for a long time, but unfortunately for him, he's playing a position where they have one of the league's best in Barry Larkin, but Larkin's out with a heel problem. That's really causing the Reds a lot of concern.
Here's Lemke. A little bit outside low. We're in the top of the 6th. The Braves with runners at second and third.
See 97 pitches for Steve Traxel. Giving up just the 1 lone run.
Now the pitch to Lemke. A little high, ball 2. Blauser would be up there next.
Infield is back. They're going to concede the run. The only man who's close enough would be a squibber to Ori, who's just about a step in back of the bag at third.
Runners second and third with pitch. Ball 3, a curveball. 3-0. And Jeff Blauser, who's murdered the Cubs pitching throughout his career, would be next. Three and 0, the pitch, here it is. Ball 4, the bases are loaded. With nobody out.
And there was no doubt that Steve Traxel pitched around Lemke. He set up the double play to force at any base. But the man up at bat has really done some damage to the Cubs, not only this year, but every year.
Lifetime batting average over 350. And he's hit 15 home runs against them, more than any other Brave. 11 of them here in this ballpark. The infield back. Traxel. A little bit inside. Ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Bases are loaded. Nobody out. Game tied up. 1-1. Fouled it off. Count evens up. A ball and a strike. An off day tomorrow. And the Rockies are here Tuesday to open a 2-game series. Tuesday and Wednesday. 120 ball games each day. Leadoff man at 1 o'clock. Long drive, deep center field, way back, and McRae makes the catch, but one man scores. Another man advances from second to third, and Blauser puts the Cubs ahead with a long sacrifice fly.
Jeff Blauser hit this one right on the button. Brian McRae goes back, makes a fine play. RBI number 7 for Blauser. The Braves take the lead. That's going to be it for Traxel.
Here comes still Jim Ridley, Riggleman out, and Patterson trotting in. And we'll be back with more in a moment.
The coming of age of the adolescent grizzly bear, a strange rite of passage where they cry out for their most primal, urgent need.
Heaven help us if they ever learn the Macarena.
Pepsi, Generation Next.
On the Parenthood, Michael's got a record deal.
Record company guys can be real weasels.
Dad, I'll do business like that.
Huh?
Shaheem from Wu-Tang playing guest. Then on Steve Harvey.
The Cubs will now find themselves trailing 2-1. First time they've been behind in this ball game.
And Patterson 0-1 this year, an ERA of 6, on for the 5th time, a total of 3 innings, giving up a couple of runs. He hasn't walked anybody. He's spanned 2. He inherits Braves at 1st and 3rd. And a pretty good hitting pitcher in Tom Glavine. You also have to be aware of the safety squeeze, because Glavine can handle the bat.
Glavine singled his first time up, tapped out in the 4th. Runners are on at 1st and 3rd. Klesko has crossed the plate. Lopez advanced from 2nd to 3rd on the sacrifice fly hit by Blauser. And what I mean, he really hit the ball about 400 feet away. McRae had to go back and haul it in. And Klesko easily trotted home.
We saw by that earlier graphic that Patterson has been perfect, stranding 4 inherited base runners. But he'll be put to the task right here.
Here's Glavine. Good hitting pitcher. The infield plays him. There's the ball, bunted, foul. That was not a squeeze, suicide squeeze.
Well, it's one of a safety squeeze
Yeah.
there. You move the one
Right.
runner from 1st to 2nd. If it happens to be a good bunt, then Lopez can always run, but he wasn't running on the play.
But Blauser was. 0-1 to count, 1 out, runners at 1st and 3rd, 2-1 in favor of the Atlanta Braves. Patterson's pitch, there's squeeze on, laid down perfectly. The only play, first base, wild throw into right field. Here's another runner around, but be held at 3rd base.
Well, going to go as an error on Bob Patterson. It will go as a run batted in on the perfect suicide squeeze by Tom Glavine. So he'll get a sacrifice. This is done perfectly. And Patterson, off balance, throws the ball into right field. Bounces by Brant Brown, and runners now at 2nd and 3rd. The Braves lead by a pair.
They could give Glavine a hit. It was problematical whether he'd have been out. But Patterson made the wild throw. So probably they will call it an error for the throw, a sacrifice, and a run batted in for Glavin.
And Harry, somewhat unbelievably, that's the first error in the long career of Bob Patterson.
Boy, that's...
But if anything's going to happen, it's going to happen this year.
Here's Lofton taking a strike call. So Lemke. Strike call. Lemke at third base. Lavin at first. The score 3-1 now in favor of the Braves. Line shot foul. Boy, Lofton bidding for his fourth straight hit. His line drive only half a foot foul down the third baseline.
Cubs get a break there. That would have easily scored 2. Infield in at all 4 positions.
Boy, what a beautifully executed squeeze play on Glavin's part. Strike 3 call. Lofton called out on strike. And so finally his perfect day ends.
It ended on a fastball about 6 inches outside, but certainly Bob Patterson will take it. And watch the squeeze again. Glavin does a great job. This ball is just off the ground, and he bunts it perfectly.
Well, he'd have been easily out had the throw been good. Michael Tucker. 1 for 3 today. Runners at second and third. 3-1 in favor of the Braves. Two men are out. A little bit outside. Terry Adams getting ready in the Cubs bullpen. Two balls and the strike. San Diego has taken a 3-1 lead in the top of the ninth at Philadelphia. San Francisco beat the Mets 5-1 in the first game of a doubleheader. There's a foul ball on the ground outside first base. Cincinnati leading Florida 5-1 at the end of 6th. The Dodgers 14-4 lead over the Pirates at the end of 7th.
Bob Patterson, you want to make it happen right here. You certainly don't want to keep this inning alive to see Chipper Jones get the lefty-lefty advantage.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Fouled it back. This inning started with a base on ball to Klesko, and the key man was Lopez. There's a base hit to right, 1 run in. Another runner being held up, and it's 4-1. Lemke scores. Glavin stops at third.
And they're not going to run much on Sammy anymore as Michael Tucker just muscles this ball into right field, driving in his 3rd run of the year. And so that trade certainly has paid some dividends with Jermaine Dye going to Kansas City and Michael Tucker moving to Atlanta.
So runners at first and third, 2 out, 3 runs home. 4-1 ball game in favor of the Braves. The Cubs, if they lose this one, will have tied Atlanta for the National League record for losses starting a season. The Braves did it in 1988. For the first runner back, Michael Tucker at first, Tom Glavin at third. Glavin shooting for his third in a row. 1 ball, no strikes. You can hear a few vendors, the crowd very quiet. 1 ball, no strikes. Outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Terry Adams working in the bullpen. Fouled back. 2-2. Oakland batting in the 9th, trailing the Yankees 3-2. Two balls and the strike. High. Sandberg hurt in this ball game. Being hit on the right side of the face, apparently at the ear region, by a foul ball off the bat of Brant Brown. Here's a force out to end the inning. But a big inning, 3 runs, 1 big error. And there were three hits and a long sacrifice fly. And going into the bottom of the 6th, it is 4-1 in favor of the Braves.
I got a lot accomplished this week.
Thanks to Jimmy's versatility.
Today, write the distance, date, and your name. Send it to WGN. You can win tickets to any Southwest Airlines destination.
Yes, you'll be kept at 38 degrees.
Hi, Gus.
Hi, Bill. You get your own special place in the fridge. You are going to love it here. The tap lines are super clean. The glasses are spotless. I'm going to miss you, too. Bye.
Budweiser, what fresh beer tastes like.
Yeah, he's weird, but he's good to the beer.
It's a night jam. First, 3 cheers, a toast to the world champs. Then, the Bulls battle the Raptors. It all starts Monday at 6:30 on WGN.
Harry Caray and Steve Stone, and this game has taken an alarming turn as the Braves now have a 4-1 lead behind the pitching of Tom Glavin. And you know how tough he is, especially against the Cubs. The pitch to Glanville a little bit over the outside corner. Glanville in his lifetime 11-6 against the Cubs. And his record against the Cubs here at Wrigley Field, not counting today, is 5-2. Glanville, who scored the only Cub run. Base hit up the middle. Glanville singles the center. I tell you, Glanville, before too much time has gone by, he's going to be playing more than he has been playing yet. He's fast, good defensively, and can hit. Here's Dunston, 0 for 2. He's short enough as if the bunt takes a pitch high. Dunston is 3 out of 33 for the season. Runner at first. Nobody out. Fouled it back. Cincinnati leading Florida 5-2 in the 7th. Dodgers over the Pirates 14-5 in the 8th. The Giants 3-2 over the Mets in the 4th after winning the first game 5-1. Line drive in the right field, a base hit. And the Cubs have runners at first and second with nobody out, and Sammy Sosa, who drove in the first run, coming to the plate. And the crowd comes to life. Well, one of Sammy's favorites would tie up the ball game. Activity, Clumps getting ready for the Braves. Over the outside corner, strike call. Brad Klontz getting ready. The right-hander, also a left-hander down there. Runners at first and second. The speedy Glanville and Dunston. Sammy waiting. Long drive in the right field. If it stays fair, but it goes foul. That would have scored 2 if fair. A line drive, but it was foul.
Alan Embry and Brad Klontz listening up in the bullpen. Embry, the left-hander on the right, and Klontz, the submariner, on the left.
So Sammy's in the hole now, 0-2. Sammy ripped a double down the left field line to score Glanville for the only Cub run in the 4th. Way outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We're in the bottom of the 6th. One ball, 2 strikes. Fouled it out of play. San Diego defeated Philadelphia 3-1 today. The Mets tied the Giants now 2-2 at the end of 3 after the Giants won the first game of a doubleheader 5-1. Low outside. That evens it up 2-2. Crowd alive. Oh, boy, he had a good rip and fouled it back. Mark Grace watching the action. He's still on the DL, you know. And he is sorely missed by his teammates. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Way outside. Ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Hernandez would be next. He replaced Ryan Sandberg. After Sandberg suffered the injury, being hit by a foul ball while in the dugout. 3-2. The pitch. Foul back. He's hanging in there. They can't play Sammy any set way. The outfield straight away and deep. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ball 4, the bases are loaded with nobody out. And Jose Hernandez batting for the first time today.
And for the first time today, we're going to see a trip to the mound. Tom Glavine having his problems here in the 6th inning. And with the bases loaded, Jose's been a pretty good hitter.
And the Cubs have the setting to enjoy a pretty productive inning. Bases loaded, nobody out. Hernandez has had 1 out of 2. So he's batting only for the 3rd time this year. He's got popped. Way outside, ball 1. Ryan Sandberg hit the last grand slam here at this ballpark last year against the Mets. Slow roller, only play will be the first base, a run scores, and it's 4-2 now at Glanville. Across the plate. Dunson now at 3rd, Sosa at 2nd.
Hernandez squibs this one off the end of the bat. It's hit too slowly to even think about 2. And Jose has driven in his first run of the year, and the Cubs creep within 2.
Now a base hit would tie it up. Runners at 2nd and 3rd. Ori walked and had an infield hit. Fastball outside. 1 ball, no strikes. The White Sox and the Tigers are next innings, tied up 7-7. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out, 1 in. Runners at 2nd and 3rd. Montreal leading in Colorado 3-1 at the end of 4. Strike over the outside corner. 2 balls and a strike. The Yankees held on to beat Oakland 3-2. That pitch seemed to be outside, didn't it? 2 balls and a strike. We're in the bottom of the 6th. A base hit could tie it up. Way outside. Ball 3.
The throwing arms in left and right aren't particularly good for the Braves. So a fly ball there scores a run.
Three balls and the strike. Glavin getting ready. Way high, walked him. And so the bases are loaded. One run is in, only one out. And Grant Brown, who's 0 for 2. Mark Grace would be in there, but for the injury today. Strike called, a fastball over the outside corner. Anaheim beat Oakland 8-3, or beat Cleveland rather, 8-3 today. Yankees edge Oakland 3-2. Way outside. That evens it up, a ball and a strike. The infield back. Chipper Jones very wide at the bag at third base. Slow roller, man, might get, hey, everybody's safe. And the game, boy, oh boy, now it's a 4-3 ball game, an error, a run scored, and the bases remain loaded.
Grant Brown's going to pick up a run batted in here. You can't assume the double play, and Jeff Blauser, thinking about 2, doesn't even get 1.
Boy, I tell you, the defense of Atlanta has been very bad in this series also.
4 errors yesterday, Harry, and they haven't distinguished themselves today.
Well, here's Service, 0 for 2. The infield playing back for the double play. 4-3 in favor of Atlanta. Pitch outside. Boy, that was not a difficult chance either. Blauser was anxious to start what might have been a double play. 1 ball, no strikes. Swung and he missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Service. Is 4 out of 31 against the pitching of Glavin during his career. Only 4 out of 31. 1 ball, 1 strike. Way outside. Ball 2. 2 balls and the strike. And staying with Glavin. There's a line drive into left field. It's caught. Here's a tying run trying to score. After the catch, he's safe. The ball gets away. The runners advance. This game is tied as Sammy Sosa beat the throw to the plate and then it got away from Lopez and the other runners advance. 4-4 tie.
Scott Service hits this one right on the button, and then it's the arm of Ryan Klesko against the speed of Sammy Sosa. We told you that Klesko doesn't throw particularly well. This throw just off the mark. Sammy beats it. And when the ball gets away, the runners move up.
And now Dave Clark comes out as a pinch hitter. Batting for Patterson. Traxel's off the hook. Patterson's off the hook. Clark. Oh, what what a smash. Knocked down by Glavin, who throws to first base. Boy, that costs 2 runs. However, the Cubs have tied it up. 3 runs. Oh.
GN.
Larry Cassian comes on to start the top of the 7th inning. The first man he's going to look at is Fred McGriff.
Boy, what an inning. 2 hits, 2 walks, 2 errors, and 3 runs scored as the Cubs tied it up.
Cassian on for the 4th time. 0-1 record.
First pitch swung on a long drive, left field, Glanville on the run, and he makes the catch. McGriff flies deep to Glanville.
Good effort by Doug Glanville, who's showing some skills in this one. This ball drifting away from him. He goes over into the corner and makes the play.
Turk Wendell in the bullpen, getting ready. Cashion with 1 away. McGriff hitting his first pitch. But Glanville making a fine play. Again, the first pitch into the left field corner, out of play. 1 strike and nothing. We're in the top of the 7th. Brad Klontz getting ready for the Braves. Klesko. 0 for 2. Walked and scored in the 5th. There's Mike Bilecki, who was the winner in the first game of the series. 0-2 the count. Larry Cashion. Struck him out, a curveball. And Klesko called out on strikes, 2 away.
Pretty good breaking ball by Larry Cassian. He just freezes Klesko. It drops over the outside corner, and that's it for that at bat.
Well, this is the first inning that the Cubs have a chance to retire the side in order. Here's Lopez. His double in the 6th sparked a 3-run Atlanta rally. Belliard. Here's a high pop foul out of play. Rafael Belliard. Utility infielder for years in Pittsburgh. Last couple of years with Atlanta. Two out, nobody on. Line shot in the center to McRae to retire the side. First time today they've been retired in order. And we go into the bottom of the 7th. Score all tied up. 4-4. All right. Let me hear you. Good to know. 0-1. 0-2. 0-3. Take me up.
on Steve Harvey as Steve in Rock Bottom.
I've been sitting on this couch all...
And Channel 9.
McRae on the first pitch tries to beat out a bunt, but Chipper Jones throws him out, charging the ball beautifully.
Good effort by Jones because this ball hops up on him and he throws it across with a good, strong arm.
So there's one away now. And here's Glanville, who twice has sparked scoring innings with base hits. There's a strike call over the outside corner.
Clont's on for the 6th time, so he's already been a busy man. 1-0, an ERA of 5.40. Total of 5 innings of work.
1 strike to nothing. A looping liner going to be caught by the second baseman, Lemke. 2 away. So Glanville cannot win this game. Or rather, Glavin cannot win this game. Glanville tried like the Dickens to win it himself. He started 2 innings in which the Cubs scored. A single leading off the 4th and a single leading off the 6th. Clontz, a submarine right-hander facing Sean Dunston. First pitch, high pop fly, easy out to retire the side. I think Clontz made 3 pitches and got 3 out. At the end of 7, still tied at 4.
On the Parenthood, Michael's got a record deal.
Record company guys can be a division of starter for only $39.99 or a Cubs cap for only $7.99. These authentic, officially licensed products won't last long, so visit your local Dominick's today.
You got to give the people what they want. You got to give the people what they want. Give the people what they want. Hey, got to give the people what they want.
Harry Caray back to the ballpark. Lemke, Mark Lemke leading it off, and Turk Wendell is on the hill. 1 ball, no strikes. Popped it up on the next pitch. Who's going to get it? No confusion, attaboy. Brant Brown makes the catch. 1 away. And here's Jeff Blauser.
That's what Turk Wendell has done this year, and he's been pretty good. On for the 5th time. Fine ERA of 1.59.
Blauser, as much as he's hit against the Cubs, his defensive work has not been so hot. Here's a pitch a little bit low and inside. One ball, no strikes, 1 out. Fouled it back, and the count is evened up. Montreal leading 5-1 in the bottom of the 5th. Mike Bielicki warming up for the Braves. He was the winner here in the first game. 2 balls and a strike. Well, neither Maddox or Glavin will have the satisfaction of beating the Cubs in this series. Maddox pitched brilliantly, but was not the pitcher of record. And Glavin, here's the pitch, swung, and he missed. 3-2. And Glavin had a 4-1 lead and couldn't hold it. 1 out. Fouled it back. Blauser getting a good cut. Montreal 5, Colorado 1. Bottom of the 5th. Line shot, left field, base hit. So Glendale gets the ball back into the infield with one out. Blauser singles to left. Let's pause for identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN-TV, Chicago.
Blauser got his second hit. He also had 2 hits in the first game.
Now we see the other half of the Jermaine Dye trade. Keith Lockhart comes on a pinch hit. He led the American League in pinch hitting last year.
There's a pitch a little bit outside. Lockhart, an infielder.
1 for 3 with 2 driven in as a pinch hitter this year.
1 man out, 1 man on. Wendell. Swung and he missed, and the count is even. One ball, 1 strike. Batter number 1, out 1. Waits is Arwild on the scoreboard. 1 ball, 1 strike. Florida has come back. Swung and he missed. Florida trailed 5-1. Then got 1, now has 2 more in the 8th. And they're within 1 run of the Reds. 5-4. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Way outside. Boy, the 2 balls were hit hardest of any in that 3-run rally in the 6th, where Service's ball, line drive on which a run scored, sacrifice fly, and then Dave Clark with runners at second and third. There's a ground ball, throw to second, hits a runner in the head.
That's probably going to go as an error on Brant Brown. You need to get an angle on that, and he didn't have any. He threw right through the path of the runner. It hit Blauser in the back of the head. And Brant Brown will be charged with an error. You got to take a step in toward the field of play before you make this throw to get an angle for the throw. And you can see Brant Brown stays right there, and it bounces right off the helmet of Jeff Blauser.
Bobby Cox, the manager, trotting out. Well, that's a shame. Now he's in trouble with the head of the batting order coming up. Blauser. That'll be Brown's second error today. Big huddle around the mound for the Cubs. The entire infield is around the mound, and Ringelman tells them what's to be expected.
And with both left-handers being used by Jim Riggleman, he's got to go with the right-hander against a couple of pretty tough left-hand hitters in Lofton and Tucker. Now Blauser going to be taken down for Rafael Belliard.
Belliard running for Blauser. Belliard has played with the Pirates for a number of years as a defensive infielder and also now for the Braves.
It was one of the moves that John Sherholtz made when John Sherholtz became the GM in his first year. He knew his young pitching was ready to go. And he brought over Terry Pendleton, Sid Bream, and Rafael Belliard to shore up the infield defense. And the Braves went from worst to first.
So Ken Lofton comes up with runners at first and second.
Kevin Orion very close at third.
In there, breaking ball at the knees. Strike 1. Kansas City down Minnesota 6-1. A looping liner, it is a foul ball. Wow. Down the third baseline again.
Lofton has twice missed RBI base hits, and probably a total of 6 inches between them.
He busted his bat on that one. He's getting a new art club. Two minutes on, 1 out, 2 strikes and nothing on Ken Lofton, who's 3 out of 4 today. Pitch low into the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We're in the top of the 8th. Swung, and he fouled it back. Lofton, the only time he's been retired today was in the 6th when he was called out on strikes.
I don't think Lofton's going to be taking anything close on the outside part of the plate. That's where he got called out in the 6th.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Bouncing ball, softly hit, Rhodes foul. It seemed like Brett Brown was a little undecided whether to make the play quicker, trying to keep the ball fair.
Well, wisely, he touched it when it rolled foul. And they'll do it again.
Lofton's so fast. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Stretch him on, called over the outside corner.
Same
and
place,
that's the
Terry.
same pitch he got him on before.
Lofton not happy with Mark Barron. He got called out here before. He does it again.
And here is Michael Tucker, the right fielder. He's 2 out of 4 today. 2 out, 2 on. Strike caught on the outside corner. We're in the top of the 8th. The shadow of the stands rapidly approaching home plate. There you see it coming close. Shortly, the entire plate area will be darkened. 1 ball, 1 strike. Swung, and he missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. My son-in-law. Coley Newell watching the ball game here today. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Just missed. And the count, 2-2. 2 out, 2 on. Deuces can be wild, Arnie. Two-two pitch. There's the drive. Base hit. 1 run is in. Another man around third. He's going for the plate. He's going to score. Throw to third. Not in time. Tucker triples the right, driving in 2 runs. And now it's 6-4, Atlanta.
RBIs 4 and 5 for Tucker, who's driven in 3 today. And once again, the Cubs have made a mistake, and once again, the opposition is stormed through. For a while, it looked like the Cubs would get out of this one, but Sammy can't get to it in time. It's a triple. Drives home 2, and the Cubs trail once again.
And here is Chipper Jones. Runner at third, 2 out, 2 in. 6-4. Atlanta. There's the pitch a little bit low. As of now, the pitches of record are Wendell. There's a strike called over the inside corner. And Clounce. Smash outside first base. Pat Corrales. A good job of ducking that one.
Pat's reflexes aren't all that good, but he certainly got out of the way of that one in a hurry. And he's as far back as you'd want to get as a first base coach.
Strike 3 call. And 2 big runs score on Tucker's triple to right. And going to the bottom of the 8th, it's 6-4. Atlanta.
Remember that first crush? Remember what you did about it?
Bilecki was the winner in the first game of the series.
He's already been a busy man out for the 7th time, a 1-0 record, and ERA just over 3.
There's the pitch to Sosa. 6-4 in favor of the Braves.
The game plan is easy. You let Bilecki get you through the 8th and then bring the horse in, Mark Wohlers, in the 9th.
Swung and he missed. 0-2. Sosa hitting .400 against Bilecki, 2 out of 5 during his career. Wild one. And Lopez makes a one-handed stab. Not bad for having a catcher glove on. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 6-4 Braves. Line drive and Sammy singles the left.
Here's today's Ameritech Playbook, your link to better communication. This is where you want to bunt the ball if you're Tom Glavine. And that's exactly what he did on the suicide. It was perfectly executed. And it scored the run. Glavine doing it very well.
Here's Hernandez, a runner at first. Hernandez batted in the run with an infield out in the 6th.
Adams and Tatis loosening up in the bullpen.
Cubs trailing by 2. Swung and he missed. Hernandez has got a little pop. Runner at first, nobody out. Fouled it back. Mike Bilecki married a Chicago girl. I know he has one little child, maybe more.
The Braves have only allowed 2 home runs this year, both of them given up by John Smoltz. But the wind not much of a factor today, and Jose has some power.
0-2 count. Ooh, boy. You laid off that. It just barely missed the strike zone. fouled it back. The runner who's going will have to return. Sammy coming back to first base. The Cubs trying to avert the distinction of having lost more games at the opening of a season than anybody. The team that has that record is Atlanta in 1988. They lost 10 in a row. And since then, they've been world champions.